Shanks is the mastermind behind everything that was happening in One Piece for the last 15 years.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Oda revealed that after Roger's execution, Saint Figarland Shanks gave up on his life as a pirate to join his family atop of Mary Geoise as a holy knight, becoming a dog of Emu, even bearing the devil's mark on his arm, something Harold had to work years to obtain. His father Garling is so proud of Shanks' power that he is showing him off to Harold, bro. This guy sold out the entire pirate era. The rat no mi is in full effect.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
If Shanks had his way, we would be reading a version of One Piece where Ace ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi.
What? Why? Why?
After putting on my quarter zip, I realized that the reason for Shanks betraying Roger and the pirates' will is much deeper than you may think. In fact, this decision by Shanks is the main reason he is the child of destiny in One Piece. Without Shanks using his rat powers, Luffy could have never reached the level to defeat Emu.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for. But this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Moved to 15 years ago. Fisher Tiger has just escaped from Mary Geoise. On the run, he comes across a Holy Knight. However, instead of striking the escaped fishman, the Holy Knight breaks his shackles. These are definitely sea stones, so by the age of 24, Shanks already had mastery over advanced armament Rio. This guy tells Fisher Tiger that the armory is left open for him to raise havoc in the Holy Land. This guy literally looks like Shanks, by the way. Like, look at the figure, look at the sword, everything. In the chaos, the Boa sisters also make their escape, including Koala. Without Shanks' help, Fisher Tiger could not have achieved his escape. Harold is back at Mary Geoise as he hears about the incident that some rat must have opened the armory for the escapees to wreak havoc. Saint Diddy also says that it's up to the God's Knight now to find the culprit and execute them. Before that, though, Garling wants to introduce a new steel of God to Harold, Saint Figarland Shanks, the brother of Shamrock. Garling feels so bad for his son, who had to suffer so many hardships in the surface world with all those muggles. Oh my god, how could he have lived like that? Man, oh my god, Shanks looked so sad with the Roger Pirates, right guys? We saw him like that. All that smile, that was a fake smile, bro. Those Roger Pirates definitely kidnapped him, didn't let him out of the ship. They probably put him in prison, bro. You know how Koala looks like? That's probably how Shanks was looking. Except whenever the camera was on them, when Oda was drawing it, then like they gave Shanks makeup, they gave him the hat, everything. You know, I gave him a smile. It's all propaganda, bro. But now, Garling's boy is back home. He's on par with Shamrock in strength. Once he forms a deep sea pack, he will become a great asset to the world government. Right now, though, he is just a god steel. Harold says that Shanks looks familiar to him. He can't shake the feeling that he has met him before, which is likely the time when the Roger Pirates went to Elbaf. However, Shanks replies by saying that he doesn't know what this stupid giant commoner dumbass is yapping about. Don't act so familiar with a Figarland blood like him. He is wearing a quarter zip just like me. Do not speak lightly to a quarter zipper, twin. He will become a god knight before Harold. It seems like Harold picked up on Shanks' game here as he backs off instantly. Shanks is a rat, but not for the government, instead against them. After Roger found the One Piece and revealed the truth about the world to him, Shanks chose to do something about the current situation. He knew it wasn't yet time for Joy Boy's prophecy to come true. So, during his captain's execution, he made the decision to give up the life of a true pirate and instead become the balancer of the world until Joy Boy returned. That's why he infiltrated Mary Geoise to gather even more information about Emu and his dark secrets. Venus earlier in the chapter said that only when Harold gains the deep sea mark that he will understand the depths of the world government and Emu. Shanks likely reached this position, gained all the info, and dipped. It's possible that he even made a deal with the Gorosei to act as their rat in the pirate world, being a sort of a double agent. His true goal, however, was always to bring Joy Boy's prophecy to light. That's why Gaban, a year after this moment, calls Shanks the Child of Destiny, the one who has the reins of the world's path. It's possible that Shanks even stopped Kaido from reaching Marineford by following the Gorosei's order. Remember, Oda often says that in the manga, if he were to be a character, he would be Shanks, and Oda, as the writer, is the one manipulating the events of the world. So Shanks has been manipulating the events of the world for the prophecy of Dawn to come true. During his time in Mary Geoise is also how Shanks learned of the Nika fruit and the legendary fruit in Elbaf, learning of the ways to defeat Emu. That's why after leaving a year later, he comes to Elbaf again to speak with Herald. Then, 13 years ago, he is in search of the Gum Gum fruit, which to CP0 agents like Who's Who, it was just a rubber fruit. Why would a dude worth 1 billion berry try to take it in the East Blue? Shanks planned to give the fruit to Roger's son Ace, as he thought that's who the promised one should be, since, you know, Roger himself joked about it. However, Luffy ate the fruit, foiling Shanks' plans, until he realized Luffy is him. Shanks losing his arm might have been on purpose against the Sea King. After betting it all on the future, as he told Rayleigh soon after, this action might have also been his proclamation to stop working with the Gorosei. Either way, Shanks is still keeping up the act with his brother Shamrock. He asks him to show him around Mary Geoise, suggesting that he just recently joined the Holy Knights and he doesn't know a lot. While they look around, Shanks also wants to capture the traitor who let Fisher Tiger escape. But the traitor is of course Shanks himself. Shamrock, on the other hand, likes having his brother. He cares for Shanks, saying that he should wait until his wounds are healed. Yet Shanks is like, bro, you do not know how it felt being with those filthy muggles down there in the underworld for 24 goddamn years of your life, twin. Let me lock in and capture some slaves for Imu-sama. If you look at Shanks and Shamrock's clothing, there is a glaring difference. Shanks is usually seen with his chest fully bare, right? But as a Celestial, he is hiding his true nature. It's like, you know, your heart is on the chest. He's hiding his true heart. His identity right now is a lie, so his chest is closed off. Shamrock, on the other hand, has his chest open, symbolizing him opening up to his newfound brother. He even has a little smirk smile. Like, it looks like a smile to me, bro. In the future, Shamrock instead has his chest and emotions closed, likely after the betrayal by his own twin brother. Furthermore, Shanks' injury is of course caused by Blackbeard. It's possible that before joining the God's Knights, they wanted to test Shanks' resolve. As he approached Teach in his role as a Celestial, it triggered the fuck out of Blackbeard, causing a fight to break out. This proved Shanks' determination as he gained entry into the world government.
Many months later,
Figar Rat Shanks and Gunnar Gaban come in clutch to stop the Giant King. A bit earlier, Shanks was chilling at Gaban's house chatting about the good old days. Here, Gaban revealed to Shanks that Roger has a son. Turns out, Garp told Gaban about him the last time they crossed paths. Now, we know why Shanks went to Fuchsia Village of all places, because that's where the son of Roger was. And to Shanks, Ace is like a little brother. Also, do you guys remember back in like chapter 968, after Roger and the gang returned from Laughdale, they wonder who will find the One Piece next? To which Roger jokes that it'll be his son, and Shanks thinks so too. With Roger's blood flowing through Ace, he might be the next pirate king in the new era. Through this knowledge and the events of this day, Shanks created his grand plan as the Child of Fate to bring the prophecy of Dawn to fruition. By staying in Mary Geoise as a holy knight for a year, Shanks learned the many dark secrets about the world, like the existence of the Great One, and also of the mechanisms that can defeat the devil. After his last mission, he was supposed to get the Deep Sea Pact. However, he never answered the call, instead running away. Why? Well, he learned that Emu can control you anywhere in the world if you receive this second stage of the pact. Plus, you gain immortality, strength boost, and instantly TP all across the world through the pentagram. However, with the Shallow Sea Pact, Emu can only control Shanks if he is in the vicinity. It's highly likely that Shanks' brother Shamrock told him of this critical info before Shanks escaped. We are shown that Shanks met with Herald privately away from the Holy Land after joining the Holy Knights. But he never told Herald what the second tier pact could do, hinting that he only recently learned about the truth himself. Shanks rushed over to Elbaf to warn Harold not to take Imu's second mark, because the greed of the government is boundless and he would be completely under their thumb. However, Shanks was too late, as Gaban and he feel Harold's immense haki, likely with Imu's own aura blended in. They instantly make their way to the castle, stopping Harold in a strike reminiscent to Roger and Garp's final attack against Demon Zebek. This gives Loki enough time to run into the legendary fruit room. Both Shanks and Gaban are shocked at Harold having killed his own men. Yarul pleads them to stop the king from catching Loki, but Shanks can't figure out how to free Harold from Imu's orders. Now, as I said earlier, Loki will be the hero of this day in Elbaf, but instead, they will claim it was Shanks who stopped Loki's rampage after he had killed his father Harold. Loki will be exiled while Shanks will craft his ultimate plan for the Dawn. He will seek out the Gomu Gomu no Mi, finally finding it after fighting off the CP9 agent Who's Who. This fruit, which the legendary pirate Joy Boy wielded over 800 years ago, will be given to the son of the pirate king Goldie Ace, who will turn the world upside down and liberate the planet from Imu's grasp. Yeah, that didn't go as planned, chat. Because this goofy-ass dude Luffy ate the goddamn fruit. Didn't even taste good. However, I don't think Ace would have even eaten the fruit. Ace's main goal wasn't to become the pirate king or none of that. He rejected the goal name for a reason. Shanks tried to shape fate according to what he felt was the right decision. But instead, the Nika fruit chose Luffy, and as one of his first acts of liberation, Luffy freed Shanks from Imu's shackles. Shanks gave up his arm and the Shallow Sea Pact for a bet upon the future. Him losing the arm meant that even if Shanks stood against Imu now, he wouldn't be taken over. The true plan was for it to be Ace. Shanks was going to prepare the world and balance it until Ace got strong enough. Instead, that place in Shanks' plan was taken by Luffy.
But wait! There's more!
Luckily, Shanks and Gaban are there to halt Harold from moving towards Loki. They strike the king with all their Conqueror's Haki, and here we learn the true weakness of Imu's immortality powers. The more pain you cause the user, the longer it takes for them to regenerate, and eventually they get driven into a corner. However, this pain can only be caused through Conqueror's Haki coding. I guess that's why Gaban chopped Summers into multiple pieces to cause maximum pain in the future to slow down his regeneration. Harold gets visibly annoyed by this, as Gaban and Shanks are like flies jumping around, distracting him from Harold's true goal of Loki and the fruit. Gaban says that they must stop Harold because he can't be allowed to run wild in the castle. Remember, Elbaf is Gaban's home now. If Harold wins this battle, his son Colin and Ripley will become weapons for the government. Their freedom is on the line. As the battle heats up, Shanks wonders how Gaban is so familiar with the weaknesses of the Goon Knights, to which Gaban reveals that after the Roger pirates adopted Shanks, the Knights came after them many times to retrieve what was stolen from them. Now, many people are saying that there might have been a rat in Roger's crew who exposed Shanks' secrets, but the Knights say that Shanks looks just like Shamrock. That's how they know Roger has him. So it's likely just due to appearance and how Shanks was lost in God Valley, where the Roger pirates stole a bunch of treasures from. They all connect the dots. Gaban also reveals that the Goon Knights are definitely a bunch of frauds, because every time they chased after the Roger crew, they would get sliced up and sent packing like Team Rocket. That's how St. Diddy Summers knew Gaban. It was shocking to Gaban that Celestial Dragons would be part of a fighting force, because most Celestials are useless bums who consider themselves divine. To which Shanks says that meanwhile, his life was nothing like that of of the normal Celestial. Instead, he was getting chills the whole time. This word choice might be a deeper commentary about Shanks' connection to Imu than it may let on at first glance, because Gaban replies by saying that it was fate, which suggests that both aren't just talking about living life in a carefree way, but rather Shanks' connection to Imu, because Imu's powers are also spoken of as being cold and chilly. Although Shanks was in the warm embrace of the Roger pirates, the constant pestering of the God's Knights trying to take him away, and even just the life as a pirate were like cold, chilly drafts. However, this was all part of fate, likely something Gaban learned at the final island, Laugh-Tale. Without Shanks' fate and trajectory in life since his time in Garling's Balls, the dawn of the world and Joy Boy's One Piece wouldn't come to fruition. Furthermore, Gaban reveals that all of the bum-ass goon knights that were trying to get Shanks had zero conquerors Haki. So this method of fighting against through pain and overpowering conquerors isn't being as effective against someone like Harold who has conquerors. From the Garp and Roger versus Demon Zebek fight, we know that if you coat yourself with your own advanced conquerors Haki to defend against another strike, you can cancel the effects out. That's why Garp and Roger had to channel everything into one strike to overpower Zebek's conquerors Haki. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and get some gamer subs, guys. Helps us out a lot.